Howdy folks, hope everyone is staying safe. This is going to be a little bit of a strange video, but I wanted to talk quickly today about electric can openers and basically how the auto stop function works and what to do if yours has stopped working. You can say what you want about electric can openers. I like them. I think that they're for more than just old people, and you can pick them up really cheap usually at thrift stores and stuff. Like I did on this one. This is some 70s or 80s General Electric, and I think they're pretty neat. So they're pretty hard to break, but the number one, I think, common failure on these is the auto stop mechanism, where normally you just put a can in, you press down on it, and it will automatically, like completely hands off, open the can and then stop once the lid has been fully cut open. That is usually the first thing that fails, and you have to manually pull up on the handle to get it to stop. Otherwise, it just keeps going around and around. And this being a General Electric, this is about as cheaply made as humanly possible, and it uses a very simple mechanism which is used in a bunch of different makes and models of electric can opener. And so I just want to go over how this one works and what to do if yours has stopped working, because there's only a couple things that could really be wrong with it, and so I just want to go over that now. So the way that the auto stop mechanism works in this is it's kind of difficult to see. But it should be pretty simple to understand. So the motor in this spins counterclockwise, so the can spins counterclockwise. So of course you put your can in here, and you put the blade down, and you press down, and that forces the blade into the can, and it starts turning. And as the motor turns the can, the part of the uncut can pushes to the left on the blade, which takes this whole assembly, and you can see that there's a small amount of play here. Side-to-side play in this. It actually pushes the assembly to the left, the whole assembly to the left. And there's this little pin here and this little notch that the pin goes in. And you can see there's a small lobe on here. So what happens is when you press down on this, the force of the lid being pressed against the blade causes the whole top assembly to slide over to the left. And that lip here is what holds this down, pressing on the switch, which keeps it on. And once the lid is all the way open, there's nothing pressing on this anymore, and so now the whole assembly can slide to the right to get over this lip, and the handle pops up and returns to the off position. So that's the simple way that this works. So the first thing that you want to take a look at if yours doesn't work is the pivot point, the pin that your can opener hinges on. And so you can see that mine has quite a bit of slop in here, and it's very free to move this. There's absolutely no resistance in here at all. So this slop is required for it to slide, and it has to be very free because the amount of movement we're talking about is very small. So if there is gunk or gummy stuff in here that's preventing this from moving, you need to clean that out. And usually, in this case, it's a circlip, but you can usually just take this off and wash this out separately. So that is the first thing you need to check, that moves. The second thing you need to check is the actual the pin and this channel. Sometimes you get stuff in here that's sticky, and it can cause this to bind on this post, especially if there's stuff stuck in the groove here. So again, it's just a matter of cleaning this to make sure that it works. You shouldn't need to put any kind of lubrication of any kind on these things, and I don't recommend lubing it because it is kind of close to the blade, which does touch what's inside the can. So I wouldn't put any lubrication on this. It's not necessary, and that's very unlikely to fix your problem. So if everything moves freely and it's all clean and dry and it's still not fixed, then you need to move on to the last thing. And so I'll point out that the magnet and the blade pretty much have nothing to do with the auto stop mechanism. If they work, then you don't even have to worry about it. The actual energy for popping the handle back up is provided by the spring, the return spring in the switch. So in this case, there's just a little metal or plastic post which you press down into the switch. And so I've already opened this unit. Being GE, of course, they only have one screw and everything else is just clips, so that's why I've taken it off previously. And so this is all that's inside this thing. It's just a single shaded pole motor like what you find in a fan, little gear reduction, and they've got this little stone on the end here because it's got a knife sharpener in the back. But that's all that's in this. And this is the actual switch itself, so you can see in this case it's not a dedicated switch. It's specifically made for this, just with two bent metal contacts. And you can see the little plunger presses the two contacts together. Now, the keen-eyed among you will notice that there is absolutely no end stop on this. So if you press down on this really hard, this plastic pin will go all the way through the plastic. You can bend these all the way down. And so that's why if someone's been mashing on the top of this, you can bend these contacts out of shape and it won't work. And so when I bought this, the auto stop didn't work because the contacts had been bent way out of shape. And this, was like half as high as it was because it was all inside. So I just pulled these right out of here, bent them back to the way they should be, and now the auto stop works again. Because now there's enough spring force on this to actually to overcome that lip. So I can't say what's going to be inside yours. You may actually have an actual spring and a micro switch or something like that. But hopefully yours is better designed. But I suspect that the actual springiness of the switch is a more common issue than probably anything else. But this one, of course, requires you to open it. So I'd recommend checking the other pivot points first. And that's about it. So hopefully you've learned something about electric can openers, and hopefully this helps someone fix theirs if it doesn't work. And hope everyone stays safe. And thanks for watching.